Hello boys and girls, welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. This is the first in a new series I'm doing. I've obviously got, you know, Let's Talk About and all the rest of it. But this is going to be the first episode of what I'm going to call British Steel. And I'm going to be talking about classic albums released on these British Isles. Obviously not the most obvious ones, Ace of Spades and British Steel and, you know, Number of the Beast. You've heard about all them. I'm going to be talking about a bit more underground, a little less obvious. And I thought, what better one to start with than this masterpiece, Carved from Empty Words by Stampin Ground. It's a massive album in my development as a metalhead. Released in June 2000. You know, around that time I was just leaving school, just about to leave school I suppose, and I was into, you know, your usual, your Kongs, your Slipknots. I was getting into Machine Head, Sepultura and all the rest of it. But I started going to, you know, local gigs and started discovering good bands from my area. You know, like bands like Kilkus and Enmity, and there was Keratos and Stoopy. And when I went in, you know, joined bands, I ended up forming bands with these people. Set in Silence, another big band. Luke, who I do Maidencast, was in them, and he ended up joining my band later on. And what was really good was seeing these bands. All of a sudden, it just demystified everything. It made everything more accessible, because people were making this good music here. It wasn't in America. It wasn't, you know, just in Kerrang magazine. And not only that, as these bands started getting bigger, I started seeing them in Kerrang magazine. It was like, yeah, this can be done, sort of thing. So anyway, as I was getting into this sort of underground scene and discovering, you know, bands, I was noticing, you know, Slipknot weren't necessarily the heaviest thing in the world. Who would have thought? And yeah, when I first got this, I think the first song I heard, it was either on, I think it was on a radio show. I think it was on Mary Ann Hobbs' radio thing. Phil Alexander used to come and play a track every week, and he played Everybody Owes a Death. And that song also appeared on a compilation, I think on Kerrang magazine. I think it was I think it might have been like a punk compilation. I think that was the thing I was talking about the other day with Percy on the Misfits show. Anyway, so Everybody Owes a Death, that just, wow, you know. And later on, I think in the next issue, it was like the album of the week, and it got 5 stars. And you know what? Again, with Stampin Ground, it was just 5 normal-looking guys. Like, you know, they all had short hair, not instead of long hair, or, you know, the dreadlocky shit things that everyone was having. And you know, and you read an interview with them later on, and you know, they were saying they were working on building sites and things like that. It was just completely stripped down and down to earth. And again, you didn't have to be from this mystical world where musicians came from. You could, you know, do it yourself. Anyway, there was a lot of talk amongst mates and whatnot, and how good Stampin Ground were. And a couple of my older friends had seen them live a couple of times. I think one or two may have even supported them or played gigs with them. Not only that, I found out, not all of them necessarily, but the singer, yeah, they were from Southend, you know, again, not very far from where I live. And anyway, so I remember going to HMV and picking this up, and yeah, when the opening track, Officer Down, which I'll just playing now, when those machine gun drums came in, drums by Adrian Stokes, my God, it was just, you know, especially that, you know. And this is also where this was around the time I was discovering hardcore as well. So Stampin Ground weren't the first band I saw. I think my first proper hardcore show was at the Ruskin Arms. That was Knuckle Dust, Unite, BDF, who else? 50 Caliber and Set in Silence, but at the time they were called Nerve Shot. And there might have been a couple of other bands there that day, but I can't quite remember now. And I remember going to the stall there and just, you know, all these, again, it was like a new world had opened. And obviously Ian Glasper's record label, Blackfish, which I bought anything that was by them at the time, again, all off the merchandise stand. I'll be talking about another album of them in particular in a couple of episodes. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I'll be doing, at some point I'll be doing Underroll, Misfortune Comes by Means of the Mouth. This is a fucking phenomenal album, but we'll get back to that later. Anyway, so I think the Rain in Blood comparison's a bit isn't quite right, because that album was just complete speed. But if you think of just a complete concise album with just without an inch of fat on it, it kind of is like that. And like I say, when those drums kicked in for Officer Down, you had that real vicious, razor sharp riffs. That down, it just sounded so fucking angry and pissed off. And it was a it was a real subject. It was about, you know, police corruption and, you know, certain police officers, you know, overstepping the mark. And it was a bit of an you know, that line, it's time to fear what we should respect. It wasn't, you know, it was like we should have respect for these people, but there's bad apples. And it wasn't just like a straightforward, you know, punky fuck the police, you know, thing. It was an intelligent, you know, take on the thing. You know, outside looking in, that when you had that sort of assault up front, this was a bit more of a mid-paced track. So again, with the Rain in Blood thing, if you had like Angel of Death, this was kind of like the album's piece by piece. It was kind of, right, we're here now, we've come out the gates now, we're just rolling along. And it's a bit more of a consistent song, and it's got like groove and stuff in the chorus. Symmetry of Hatred. Again, I remember reading an interview with a band that was about when Ian Glasper had visited the camps in Germany, and you know, about learning about and doing a tour, I suppose, and it kind of hit him really. And that was where the line comes from, you know, let the death camps remain as epitaphs of pain, because he just said no, they should stay there as a reminder of, you know, what man is capable of. We should learn from it, which is a good, but yeah, great, you know, that it was a much slower song as it built it up, that, and it does kind of remind me, as I'm getting older, a little bit of Dead Skin Mask, but it doesn't matter, it's still cool. Really good chorus. And you know, when they're shouting at it, let the death camps remain, that's another thing as well. As much as Stampin Ground were a hardcore band, this pretty much is a, you know, to me anyway, this is a thrash metal album, and just as good as any of the whatever your favourite thrash metal album is. I think this definitely stands up with it. And I remember saying this on Facebook, but Ian Glasper actually chirped in and went, no, we are a hardcore band, don't thrash inspired but hardcore. And it's alright, I'm not going to argue with the man, but to me, I still think this has got a lot of metal going on. I mean, they covered like just as many thrash metal songs for compilations as they did hardcore, but yeah, obviously the roots are definitely. Anyway, I'm blabbing on. So next up, Bathe My Wounds. Again, it's got that, as I've mentioned before with other British albums, like when I was talking about Benediction, it's got that sort of, just that grey, you know, that grey sort of misery that comes with like winter in the cities, and you know, it gets a bit dreary during the winter time in England, and it kind of captures that. And it's a much slower number. It's quite doomy, Bathe My Wounds, and it kind of gets chuggy in moments as well. But then, you know, I think where you've got a lot of fast numbers to begin with, this is just a nice little. It just sort of realigns everything. In terms of speed, so I think it just breaks things up when you've got a nice sort of slow number in the middle of it all, just to kind of give you a breather and just kind of reset everything. And then it just opens with the it kind of finishes with a dun dun bang, and then just kind of rings out, and then, you know, this wall of feedback really, and then dun Eyes are the winners of the soul, and then yeah, kicking in with Everyone Knows the Death, and oh, it's a fucking cool scream actually at the end of Bathe My Wounds. Yeah, it rings out a scream, then just a bit of feedback, and then bang, and Everyone Knows the Death. It's not even 2.5 minutes. It's just over 2 minutes, and yeah, that song perfectly encapsulates the thrash element and the hardcore element. And Adam Frank's sign, he great vocals on this. He's just got that. He's doing like shouts and screams, but he's still got that hardcore bark. He's got that British accent as well, which sets him apart from like what you would, or what I was hearing at the time anyway. And yeah, just relentless fucking track. Awesome, absolutely awesome. And then Fundamental Truth starts off with a face the truth, and this has got a bit of a groove. He kind of does that, not quite rapping, but that kind of like a spoken, chant, like you would get like a. This reminds me a little bit of a Madball song, and you got it's obviously about religion and whatnot, but it's a much more, yeah, this one's a bit more grounded in hardcore, by any means necessary. And both these next tracks actually, by Whatever Means Necessary and Nothing Changes Nothing, again, that was a really big influence on me in that time in my life. I was, getting into bands and wanting to, do it, and I ended up becoming like a vocalist. I was learning guitar at the time as well. When there was that self-doubt, you need that confidence to, step out there and do it. And on Nothing Changes Nothing, that get up and go message, and when that you'll never know unless you try, things like that. Those songs spoke to me as a kid, and yeah, both, considering all the lyrics are pretty bleak and pretty downer, it's there's a lot of negativity in the lyrics, obviously getting it out in a positive way. These two positive songs spin it around a little bit, and yeah, great inspiring songs. And then moving on, we've got Mid-Death Crisis. This is probably my favourite song on the album. I remember this being played in a club once and just fucking freaking out. This was my song that I played whenever I was pissed off as a youngster. But yeah, again, those evil sounding riffs, angry as hell, pissed off. But this track had a bit more groove to it. It's like dun 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 dun. And yeah, ding ding ding. Another day, another trial, another day spent in denial. I could fucking do the whole song for you now. And but again, it just goes through so many stages, and so many good riffs and so many good chords in that track. And yeah, and then when it all breaks down to the middle with that dun dun, ba 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 bam, ba bam, dun 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 dun, dun, and then the chorus, we should be living, I wonder why, we're just killing time until we die. And no, that was the fast bit. The other one is if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I'm facing the other way. And yeah, it's just again a real fucking pissed off song. And yeah, awesome track. And then finishing with Ultimatum, just a slower track that kicks on with that dun 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 dun, with Adam just screaming, I've fallen down, dun 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 dun. And yeah, it goes into like a nice fast sort of punky bit in the middle, but again just with the and then yeah, during that punky bit, I remember at the end it was can't you see I've fallen down, no one I know could care fucking less, and when the time comes I will do my best to seal their fate without regrets. And then just ending with that I've fallen down. And yeah, just the fact that it ends with just this 1-2 punch. You've got that ultimate fucking groovy song with Mid-Death Crisis, which you just will not be able to not headbang to. And then closing with a slightly slower song. It goes fast in the middle, but yeah, just that slow thing. And then again, it just rings out and just leaves that impression, just that pissed off, negative fucking. And yeah, fantastic. Just 10 perfectly paced, perfectly set in order, awesome songs. And yeah, I think it still stands up today. Like, this was released in 2000, for God's sake, 20 years, and still sounds awesome now. Absolutely love this album. And I've just pre-ordered. There's a really good record label that's just put out their first 2 demos on cassette. I'm really excited to get that. The original demos with Paul Catton from Medulla Nocte on vocals. When I get that, I might do a Let's Talk About and do the whole catalogue. But yeah, big bands for me growing up. And I managed to see them live on the, was it Bringing Back British Steel or something like that? The Return of British Steel, that tour. When that was at the Underworld, supported by God Forbid. That was their first UK tour. And Decimate. Then I saw them again open up for Hatebreed. I believe that was Hatebreed's first. They had played the Astoria, open up for Slayer, and I remember a lot of people going basically just to watch Hatebreed. I saw a few people said as well, once Hatebreed finished, a lot of people left. I could be wrong, I might be wrong, but I believe that was Hatebreed's first. I saw Hatebreed's first headline show in the UK, but I could be wrong. And that was when Perseverance came out, and that was at the Garage in Highbury, Islington, and that was Hatebreed, Stampin Ground, Knuckle Dust, and fuck me, what a show that was. The pit was mental. And then I saw him again on the tour for the next album, A New Darkness Is Upon Us. Is it Neil Hutton? Let me just quickly look it up. I'm sure is it Nick Hutton or Neil Hutton? Bear with me 1 second. Yes, Neil Hutton from Benediction joined him on drums. Yeah, and that was, I saw them on that tour at the Colchester Arts Centre, and I believe that was with Special Move. It could be Freebase. Think of a Special Move. Special Move and Knuckle Dust. And yeah, 3 times I saw them, but yeah, fantastic band. Yeah, on guitars you had Scott Atkins, who's now gone on to be a Premier League producer. Anthony Mobbs on Mowbray on guitar. Fuck me, what a team. The riffs these two came up with, fucking awesome. Ian Glasper, the sort of Steve Harris of the band, I suppose. He did all the lyrics as well, but played bass. I'm going to try and have a chat with him actually on the channel. He's writing a lot of books now. I've got a really good one about thrash metal down there. Was it Contract in Blood? But he's done loads about hardcore scene and the punk scene. And yeah, obviously Adrian Stokes, I mentioned him on drums, and Adam Frakes Simon on vocals. Everyone is just on fire. And yeah, fantastic album. So yeah, episode 1 of British Steel, and yeah, hope this is a new thing we can get going on. Thanks for watching this. Check out as well, I was on Metalcast the other day with Trey from Total Metal Rejection. He guessed it also, and we sat down with Sylvestus, and we reviewed Cytotoxin's new album. So I'll leave a link for that. You can check that out as well. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. See you later.